Welcome back. Now, this, I think, is the item that you've been most excited about.
I'm sitting up. I want to find out
She
how
wants
this
to know
happens.
how it's done. Right, travelling the world is something that most couples only dream of doing, but imagine getting to bring your newborn baby along with you as well. Well, our next guest did just that, not just once, but twice, leaving their London life behind them and going on a family adventure around the globe.
And with their youngest son, Quinn, having visited a pretty impressive 23 countries before he'd even celebrated his first birthday, we're joined now by travel blogger Karen Edwards and her husband Sean Bays to hear some of their amazing travel stories. And we're also joined by super travellers Esme. Morning, Esme. Hi. And Quinn as well.
Yeah.
Morning,
good
Quinn.
morning.
How are you, Doddies? There we go. You see, we've got a smile. Well, first of all, Karen, you're back now, just to be clear. Maternity leave is done. Back at work.
That's right, yeah.
How is that feeling after leaving all this travelling behind?
You know, it was kind of nice to come home. We spent 10 months
Mom,
on the
I
road.
can see myself on TV.
Yeah, you can see yourself on TV.
You're on the TV. It was nice to come back, but at the same time, you know, we do kind of like pine for that lifestyle. And, you know, I just finished night shifts yesterday morning. I'm a nurse, I work in a hospital, do 12.5-hour shifts. Don't necessarily get to see the kids a whole lot, so it's, yeah, it's a little bit sad.
So, just for people at home, I think the first question I'm going to ask
How did you
is,
actually manage to do? Well, A, why did you want to do
this?
it, and then how did you organise it?
So Sean and I were both really into travelling before we had children, and it just kind of seemed like a really good
What
idea.
are you doing?
Esme, can you just wait 1 minute? It seemed like a really natural thing to do, just to travel on our maternity leave, and we trialled it out with Esme. It went pretty well, and then
I like it too, did
we did it the second time a little bit different because obviously we had a toddler in tow, didn't we? We had you with us the second time, and you were a lot more grown up. And
was that tougher? Is the toddler
Yes.
tougher than the baby?
the baby is easy, right?
For sure, the toddler is much tougher
Why?
than the baby.
Why are you so maybe?
Yeah. Why is that, Sean? Why is travelling with a toddler tougher, do you think?
They've just got their own little thoughts on everything and
Their own minds.
attitudes in their own minds. At
And
their
everything has to be
age.
explained. Why, Daddy? Why?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Yeah, that's
see
it.
that a lot, don't you?
That's it.
I think it was more geared to her. The whole trip was geared more to her because obviously Quinn wasn't really necessarily, you know, they just go in the carrier, they breastfed, and he's very easy. He just like plays with anything, whereas Esme kind of needed different entertainment, so a lot of things were tailored to her, which was fine.
So, after Esme was born, when did you head off? I mean, how long did you leave yourself to recover from being pregnant and labour and having your first child?
So with Esme, we left after 11 weeks, and with Quinn, we left on that trip after 9 weeks.
After 9 weeks?
Yeah.
So from what I've heard, it's pretty traumatic, it's pretty life-changing. A lot of people really don't get dressed for the first couple of weeks.
Yes.
Never mind leaving the house, never mind planning a trip. Did you have very good pregnancies, very good labours, very good children? You breastfed very simply? Did it all just fall into place for you?
I think the pregnancies were difficult because they were both very big babies, and I work as a nurse, so 12.5-hour shifts on your feet weren't easy. I think I'm very motivated to be outside, and my mum was very good. You know, she came over to London and she's like, "Come on, up, get dressed, out of the door." Like, she was very good at kind of motivating me in that way. And I hate being inside, so like just getting out and about was the best thing I could do. And I think even for my mental health, we all know.
How did you fold this in half for this?
Pop on your arm.
No,
You know,
fold it
just
in
I think
half.
sitting indoors is depressing at the best of times, never mind with a new baby. So for me, it felt like the right thing to do is just to get out and just explore and do what I love doing.
We get the why. You have this bug, this wanderlust, right? And whatever you have to do to scratch that itch, you go and do it, and you make all the preparations. How do you afford it? How do you just stop everything and take off for a year?
So with Esme, we self-funded, and we're very sort of, I think, careful with our money. We plan it like meticulously. We use air miles and things like that in order to try and afford our travel. Oops.
I'm just going to put your mic.
Oh,
Hi,
no,
Quinn.
Quinny.
Can I have your little mic here a little second?
Sorry.
Otherwise, we mightn't hear a word that you're saying. Hold on.
So do you cut? While we're just doing that, do you cut a lot of your financial cloth to suit yourself? I mean, you're not doing this 5-star. You're not doing it in the lap of luxury. This is kind of budget all the way, pretty much, is it?
Not anymore. We've been very lucky with our blog because we now get sponsored quite a lot for our trips, which is amazing. We're very lucky, and we know we're very lucky to have that. So that makes it a lot more affordable. So I think in our last trip, where we might have spent sort of 30 or 40,000 pounds, we probably spent more like 20 because of that, which was great.
Okay.
So the 30 to 40,000 pounds, did you earn that and save that before you left?
No, so I always get in my maternity pay while we were away for quite a lot of that, and we'd prepaid for a lot of the flights and things like that. So that was quite helpful.
And you had an apartment. And did you leave that behind, or did you rent that out, or
Yeah, we rented that out.
you rented
Yeah.
that out?
I just finished renovating it pretty much put down the hammer when we walked out the door. So it was a pretty stressful time, but yeah.
So
we're able
did
to
you have a
rent it out.
mortgage on that to pay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you rented it out, so did that just cover the mortgage and
Yes.
then whatever
Yes.
was left over?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So that's how you covered that. What about your work, Sean? Because obviously you got paid maternity leave, but there's no 6 months paid maternity leave for fathers.
No, that's it. So I'm a builder by trade, so I just kind of
Was working on the house
working
predominantly.
on the house leading up to this so we could cover the mortgage with rent and whatnot. And we saved a lot. We really put a lot of savings into it to begin with before we
I tell you what, some bank should sponsor you because you're you're poster children for saving and being able to put it away and then go off and do a year. I mean, a lot of people will be figuring out how you could do that. Anyway, listen, let's talk about the various. How many continents have you covered? Have you covered all of the continents?
Yeah, well, we've been to 6 continents with Esme and 5 with Quinn.
Right. Okay. The most interesting one of the lot.
We love Asia, and South America was all new explored territory for us on this last trip. So,
Oh, darling, here's your ball, look. Wait. What's that?
so yeah, that was all new for us and very different because we'd never travelled there before, even pre-kids. So,
The one place you wouldn't go back to.
Bolivia.
Why is that?
It was an anticlimax for me. So I was obsessed with going to the Salt Flats, Uyuni Salt Flats, because they look so incredible. And I cannot tell you how much hard work it was to get there with the 2 children.
Okay, so it wasn't the Salt Flats themselves, it was a complication trying to get the kids to come along.
It was amazing when we got there, but it was a lot of hard work also.
Is he okay?
Oh, he's a wee bit hungry, so
He needs to feed.
Yes, sorry.
I suppose
you
one
work
of the
away.
things with a toddler particularly, you can breastfeed Quinn, that's okay, we don't. But children, for example, really picky about food. And you as the mum know, or the dad, back home here in Ireland or in England, this is what they eat, this is their routine. What do you do when suddenly you're going, okay, today we're eating Asian, and tomorrow we are eating American, then we're going to go to Peru and eat Peruvian food. How did the children adapt to something simple like that? How did Esme adapt?
It's just all about trying different things really and seeing what they like, seeing what she enjoys. She likes all the fresh fruits and things like that. So travelling through Central America was really good for that, like fresh mangoes and things like that they lived on.
There was no problem.
What about their routine? I mean, you know as a nurse that one of the things they say to new mothers all the time is get the child into a routine as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah, we're not so stringent in that respect, I don't think, although it probably would be beneficial now that I'm back at work. We just kind of go with what they need. So we did have a bit of a routine, like, they still go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock. They still get up at a specific time, have dinner at a specific time.
What about afternoon naps, for example?
Yeah, and so Quinn goes to sleep in the carrier. Esme doesn't have naps anymore. She gave them up really young, so that was kind of annoying. But yeah, no, we still kind of had a routine. It was just on the road, if that makes sense.
What about Esme re-entering sort of normal life and, schools, creches, all that kind of stuff? Socialising with children who have, basically haven't left their local neighbourhood.
Yes. So she's amazing. She's very sociable and outgoing, isn't she? And she went to a number of different kindergartens along the way as well. Just sometimes, she got a bit fed up with travelling, and we recognised that and thought, okay, we need to change things. We need to stop for a little while. So in Costa Rica, she went to a kindergarten and she just fit right in. It was no problem whatsoever.
So it all sort of seems to work out. Was there any travel disasters travelling with 2 young children? Help people at home feel more normal.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were hard work. We were like, I think we never got a minute to ourselves, did we? At all?
No.
They were a challenge.
Right, $64,000 question. Would you do it with 3?
No.
You're very quick out of the blocks there.
But you are looking to head off again.
I wouldn't mind. I think in the long run, we don't want to be in London for too much longer. We don't want to bring the kids up there, so we're questioning whether we should go back to New Zealand for a bit and maybe on the way do something cool for a few months, maybe.
Oh, look at that. Karen's not done yet. Definitely not. Look, it's a great story. I'm certainly inspired. I'm going to be able to do this, folks, come January, haven't I? No? Okay, not a hope. Thank you, folks. Thanks for coming in to us.